Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. JJ, SEC versus the Big Ten. A
Yes,
lot of
sir.
happening. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, why not? Let's talk about some SEC and Big Ten football.
Okay. Can we start off with a big game last week? It's in the Big Ten.
Yeah, in the Big Ten, I can only imagine which game you're talking about.
U of M at Penn State.
Yeah,
3 yards and a cloud of dust. It returned. It
it
returned.
did. Yeah,
Yeah. Only it was a bit more than 3 yards. Michigan. Michigan went 34 straight plays without a pass.
yeah. I mean, 32 to end the game. 32 in a row to end the game.
My. What's your assessment of Michigan, man?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan. Michigan is a good team. They're not the most balanced team in the country. They didn't attempt to pass. They didn't feel like they needed to attempt to pass. That was a throwback game. Michigan versus Penn State. It was a mano imano game, and I think Michigan is the second best team in the country.
Okay. The college playoff have them the third best, but that doesn't matter. If we will all decide. A couple of weeks when they play Ohio State, that's going to be decide who, in all likelihood, who makes it to the playoff. JJ,
Mm.
4 days, four games. Michigan has played without Jim Harbaugh this year. How do they look without their coach?
Um, they look just fine without them for the most part. They have better talent than every team they played this year, and it's not going to really matter next week either. It's really going to, I mean, no offense to Maryland, but it's really going to matter against Ohio State.
Okay, Friday, there's a hearing to suspend the restraining order regarding Jim Harbaugh being on the sideline. Uh, how you think that hearing gonna come out?
I think it's going to come out pretty good for Michigan. I don't think I don't think they have the ability to. I mean, I don't know. I think that from everything that I've heard, I'm not a lawyer, but I've heard lawyers talk on podcasts about it, and
Okay.
they seem to consensus seems to be that he'll get a stay or whatever.
Okay. My thought initially, that was my thinking too. I thought they would win in the courts, but after reading more and thinking about, he signed a contract where he agreed to abide by certain rules by the Big Ten, not just Michigan. And if that's true, I think his contract will supersede the due process laws that all these attorneys have been talking about. But that's just my own personal opinion. I don't I don't really know. Uh, it, I'm looking forward to seeing it though.
Yeah.
So I take it you disagree with the suspension.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about it. I don't know what they have found, what Harbaugh knew or anything. I know John Harbaugh came out and publicly said that his brother's cell phone had been seized and everything like that. Um, I honestly don't know. I don't have enough
Okay.
information probably at this point, but I don't know. I think Michigan, at least I feel like them having him suspended for 3 games gives interim coach Ron Moore like the ability to ramp up, especially after the Penn State game. You can go into the Maryland game and try some things out. You can um, work out the passing game and everything like that.
It was a big win for Michigan, a very big win.
Yeah, they were only favored by 4.5, and it felt like they could have won by more than 15 if they had wanted to. I think they won by 11.
Yeah, and I must say, give you your props. You picked Michigan to win easily. I actually thought Penn State had a shot to win, but what's your assessment of Penn State?
Great defense. I mean, they had an excellent defense, but even with as good as their defense was, they couldn't make Michigan throw. And that I think it is reveals a little bit about their offense. Their Drew Aller, hasn't made the development that he was supposed to make. Their offensive coordinator got fired after that game.
Penn State's offensive coordinator.
He went
got
0
fired.
3 against Michigan. He went 0 3 against Ohio State.
What's up with firing coordinators in the middle of the season?
It's about making statements.
Okay.
In the NFL, the Buffalo Bills had to do that
That's true.
because their head coach, if they don't make a run in the playoffs, will get fired. I don't think James Franklin's in the same situation. I don't think he'll get fired by Penn State at the end of the season, but they've shown that they don't accept 10-2 seasons. They want more from that. And Drew Aller was supposed to be like the guy, like the offensive coordinator handpicked him like when he was a 3-star, like out of Ohio, like they offered him, and then he blew up to the 5-star number one quarterback in the country coming out last year, and he stayed loyal to Penn State, and his offensive coordinator just left. So Penn State is it's an interesting situation to be there right now in Happy Valley.
My assessment of Penn State is that Penn State is a team without an identity, and they are unremarkable. They remind me very much of the boxer Jerry Quarry before your time. But Jerry Quarry was a boxer that if you could get past him, you'd be considered a good boxer. You'd probably get a shot at the heavyweight championship. But Jerry Quarry himself was never a real contender for the heavyweight championship. It's always, well, if you can beat him, you can get a shot. And to me, it's kind of like, well, if you can beat Penn State, you got a shot at winning the SEC. I mean, the Big Ten East. That's my take on the Big Ten on Penn State right now. Is that Penn State is not any threat to win it themselves. But that's my take on it. Any more on the Michigan Penn State game?
Not much more to say about it. Pretty closely matched teams for the most part, but
Can we move to the SEC?
yeah, let's transition over to the SEC.
There's two games I want to talk about, but the one I want to talk about first, Mississippi State at Texas A&M. Texas A&M won that game, 51-10, JJ. Why do I want to talk about that game?
Well, I mean, certainly it's because Texas A&M won by 41-point margin. They're still in bowl contention. I assume it's because
Crazy. Both coaches got fired the next day.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
How many games? Zach Arnett at
Mississippi State.
This year he was 4-6. First year, he's only had 11 bowl game last year and 10 games this year.
Yeah.
As a coach, JJ, what do I have to do my first year as a new hire coach to get a second year? How many wins do I have to get?
They had 31 returning starters or senior starters or something like that. Like they had a lot of expectations. I think he transitioned the offense away from the air raid.
Yeah.
Right after Mike Leach passed, rest in peace. And when you do something like that, that's a bold decision. You have to show results, and I think he got fired before he had the opportunity to win his last two games and get bowl eligible because they wanted to move on from him. The situation and circumstances why he was inherited. That is why he inherited the job in the first place. I think they had an opportunity to do a nationwide coaching search. I think just with the timing and everything, they decided to let's see what he got, and he didn't really live up to it.
Yeah, the timing wasn't the greatest to do a nationwide search. Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M.
Largest buyout in the history.
Can I say this about this buyout?
What?
Jimbo Fisher, for the next 8 years, if he does nothing, he will be making $26,000 a day. Did I say that right? A day, 26,000.
Yeah.
Why can I get a job like that, JJ?
Well, I don't know. You gotta find you a Jameis Winston, get him to commit to you, and ride the back of his success for a huge contract. $75 million is his buyout. The next largest buyout in the country is $15.5 million.
Oh wow!
So that's Brian Harsin from Auburn.
I still can't fathom that, JJ. I really can't.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to college to learn to get a good job, and then go figure, you can become a football coach and do lousy and make $26,000 a day.
Yeah,
that ain't bad.
America. You can.
JJ, don't hop on it, but these coaches, these schools are firing coaches. Everybody ain't gonna win 10 games. It's just not gonna happen. Mississippi State doesn't have the budget in any shape, form that would match LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, Texas A&M. What do they want their coach? What kind of record do they want from their coach?
I think they want what Dan Mullen gave them.
Yeah.
8-win seasons, consistent 8-win seasons, every now and then 9, sometimes 10. I think that's what they want.
Could he come back to Michigan, Mississippi State, Dan Mullen? Right now, he's not working.
Oh, if I'm Dan Mullen, I'm not coming back from Mississippi State.
Okay.
He can, like, he'll have a lot of opportunity. I mean, I don't think he'll get Texas A&M. I think they want somebody that can recruit.
Okay.
He has shown an aversion to recruiting. But other jobs are going to open.
Okay.
And I would say most of them are going to be better than Mississippi State.
Would you want to take the Texas A&M job?
Yeah, because you're going to be incredibly rich. I mean, they're going to pay a lot of money.
Aside from the money, if money was not the issue, would you want the Texas A&M job?
Relative to what their expectations are, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. That it's a very fertile recruiting base, but they're the second best program in their state now. In their conference, in their state, with Texas coming in, Oklahoma coming in.
Yeah.
You still got Alabama. You still got LSU. You got Georgia. Florida. I mean, Florida has a better recent history. Texas A&M hasn't won a NCAA football championship since 1939.
One last game I want to talk about in the SEC last week, and that was Georgia and Mississippi Ole Miss. Georgia destroyed them.
Yeah, I mean, Mississippi has like a couple of elite players and Judkins and everything like that, but for the most part, Georgia has. I mean, that's the difference between 5 stars versus high 3s.
Is Georgia peaking right now?
I think they're playing their best ball when they feel like they need to.
Okay, I've heard that before describing Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, they saw Mississippi had a ranking in the top 10. They're like, oh, okay, let's see if you're top 10. I think Georgia sleepwalks through the schedule a lot. I mean, they have a pretty weak schedule this year.
Well, you know what? Initially, I would agree with you, but Georgia recently they played Missouri. They played Mississippi,
mm-hmm.
and they got Tennessee coming in this week. All 3 in the top 25.
Yeah, that's true. And Missouri even deserves to be in the top 25. No, I mean Mississippi should probably be in the top 25, but they weren't a top 10 team.
Other than the Georgia.
Kentucky was ranked when they played.
Okay, that's true. But other than Mississippi's loss to Georgia, Mississippi has been competitive. I mean, they're not a bad team. That's just my take on it.
I mean, but if you look at their schedule, I mean, who have they really beaten? I mean, played.
Mississippi, they beat. Did they beat LSU? Yes, they did. They beat LSU.
They did beat LSU.
And that's Florida State's claim to fame right now, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but LSU, in the Ole Miss game, didn't their quarterback not finish it? The potential Heisman candidate, didn't he go out at the end of the game to?
I can't remember.
So I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that was the one that happened. So I'm gonna have to put a little asterisk on that. And they were competitive against Alabama, but so was Arkansas. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Let's get into this week. But before we get to this week, can I go back to last week's game, or more specifically to the Big Ten and Michigan?
Okay, let's go back. What do you want to do?
Is Cowboys America's team? Can Michigan replace the Cowboys as America's team?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can be America's team the same way the Cowboys are America's team, in that America does not like them. I think they're going to be they'll be the villains, but I think that they're comfortable wearing that hat.
And I bring that up because who said that they were America's team?
Jim Harbaugh.
Coach Harbaugh.
Yeah,
he says Michigan. Do you agree? Is Michigan America's team? I always thought it was Arkansas, but that's just me.
Well, I mean, if they're the last team standing, they just might force America to acknowledge them.
Let's go to this week's game, Jay. We're going to be kind of quickly. I like to talk about 2 games. Okay. One in the SEC, one in the Big Ten.
Okay.
Georgia at Tennessee this week in the SEC.
Okay.
Like I said, Georgia's getting to the meat of their schedule. After this, And this is their last SEC game of the year,
Hmm.
regular season. Uh, Tennessee was supposed to be Georgia's only real test coming into the season. Is this how's this playing out?
I mean, Tennessee, are they even ranked anymore?
They are.
Okay, well,
They're in the great rankings came out Tuesday, and Tennessee was in the teens,
oh, okay.
the lower teens.
Yeah, yeah,
17.
Tennessee's not a threat at all. Their offense is a
Is,
shell of what they were last year without Jalen Hyatt and, Hendon Tucker.
is that Tennessee?
Yeah, it's at Tennessee.
A lot of people fit in that stadium.
Yeah, a lot of people fit in that stadium. A lot of people can walk out of it very sad and dejected, holding their head down, which is what's going to happen to most people wearing orange. If you saw what Missouri did to Tennessee last week, I think what Georgia's going to do.
This is Georgia's only real road test. They've been on the road against Auburn. That's not a real test. All those.
If Tennessee played Auburn tomorrow, I'm not sure Tennessee would win that game, but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this is like I said. This is Georgia's first road test in my mind.
Okay.
So we'll see what happened with that. There's another game I want to talk about.
I'll take Georgia.
Okay. Can we move to the Big Ten?
Yeah.
The one game I like to talk about: Michigan at Maryland.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Is that
Bowl eligible Maryland, 6 win Maryland.
Is that a trap game? Michigan just played Penn State last week, and the following week after this game they got Ohio State. So right in the middle between Penn State and Ohio State is Maryland. Could Michigan probably just discount Maryland and ignore them? Because this is going to be on the road at Maryland.
Who's going to be on the sidelines for Michigan? Michigan isn't going to.
Well, we'll know Friday.
Yeah, we'll know Friday. This isn't going to be Michigan can't possibly fall into a trap game situation in any respect when their head coach is right now ineligible to be there on the sideline. I mean, you're going to prepare. It's Michigan against the world, and right now Maryland's in their way. And
okay. I was about to ask you that. Michigan versus everybody. Who's winning? Who you got in that fight?
Well, in the Big Ten, I'll take Michigan. Once you get to include Georgia in that everybody, then we have a different story to tell. But, Michigan versus everybody except Georgia, that's one answer. Michigan versus everybody, that's a different answer. So,
okay. Well, I think there's a potential for a trap game. That's my take. That's my take. We kind of went through a lot of things kind of quickly, but I thought we touched on some of the key things that are pretty important.
Yeah, as it pertains to college football, that's for sure. Only thing I would have to say is it was a big night for the Big Ten in basketball, in the SEC in basketball. Kentucky and Michigan State played.
Last night.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, a couple of losses for the SEC and the Big Ten.
Well, one thing we know about Michigan, they play tough teams in November. I mean, Michigan State, tough teams in November and December. But come March, oh man, they be ready.
Well, that they're gonna have to get ready. A lot of work to do, but there was a lot of great performances from Tyson Walker, Carson Cooper. So good on them. And Kentucky, their freshmen, their best two freshmen, DJ Wagner and the forward, what's his name? Not Rob Dillingham, not Reed Shepard. They have so many new people every year.
I know.
It's just hard to keep
this
up.
year more than they did last year.
Yeah, Justin something. It's like he's supposed to be the number 1 pick or the number 5. He's the top 5 pick or whatever. He shot one for like 9. He was bad last night. DJ Wagner was bad last night. They still almost beat Kansas.
Michigan State, they got to get their 3-point shooting down this year.
Oh yeah, they were horrible again last night.
They got to get it down, but it will. But
Tyson Walker shot over 40% last year. So did Jaden Akins, but they're missing Joey Hauser, who shot over 40% as well.
Well, shooting over 40%, three players shooting over 40% from threes is really good. JJ, I think we're about done here.
Yeah, I think it's about time to go.
But can I say before we go, we were talking basketball. I've seen Arkansas play 3 times this year. They're number 14, and they're going to end up playing Duke in the SEC ACC Challenge. If Arkansas beat Duke, look out SEC. That's all I got to say. See, this is like when I predicted. And last week I told how I was happy you stood with me when I was picking Arkansas to win it all in football, baseball, basketball, tiddlywinks, volleyball, and all those other kind of things. Stick with me, JJ.
Okay.
You ready to get out of here?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready to get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
That's it for 101.
WPS. We'll pick Suey.
Who they?